The assessment for Unit 2 consists of 2 stages. Firstly, you will have up to 6 hours to complete research on a given topic to prepare for the exam tasks. Then, you will sit a 3-hour exam. In your exam, you will be given more information about a business and tasked with completing 2 activities. Activity 1 includes a rationale, and Activity 2 is where you explain all of your marketing decisions in a marketing plan. A few weeks before your exam, you'll be given information about a specific business or market to complete your research. You will have 6 hours to complete this, and you should produce 6 pages of research. This could be anything from a bicycle shop to the ice cream industry. Other examples include the ready meal market, the pizza market, mobile apps or vinyl stores. It could be absolutely anything. In your 6 hours, you will need to collect a range of information about the market. Market size and growth shows how much potential the business has. Trends and fashions show what is popular. Customer needs show what the customers want. Frequency of purchases tell us when and how often people make purchases. Knowing how much competitors charge will help making pricing decisions. You'll need political, economic, social and technological factors to complete a pest analysis. Looking at competitor products shows how we could compete with them. Distribution channels give a good idea of where to make the product available. Looking at how competitors promote their products tells us what might work well as looking at their marketing message to see how to make the product stand out. Seasonality tells us when the product is most popular, so marketing can be targeted. We need to know the cost of promotional methods to stick to the marketing budget. You can collect up to 6 pages of research, so you need to make the most of this and fit in as much relevant information as possible. Your research should be in the form of facts, quotes and statistics. You are not allowed to include any planning, evaluation or analysis. This means you should not analyse any of the information you collect and can include the research to help you complete a pest and SWOT analysis. But you should not include an actual pest or SWOT analysis in your research. You must print this research and take it with you into your exam. If you don't have it, you will have to complete the exam with no research. Your research will be checked and collected by the examiners, so your work may not be marked if you include anything you are not allowed in your research notes. Activity 1, the rationale, consists of 5 main parts. Firstly, you will discuss the market information that you have collected in your research. Then you will define some suitable marketing objectives for the business that you have been given. Next, you will use situational analysis tools, including a pest and SWOT analysis, to consider the business environment. Finally, you will reflect on your work so far to discuss your initial ideas for the marketing plan. One of the most important parts of Activity 1 is discussing market information, as this is where you should analyse the information that you discovered through your research during your exam preparation. One way that you could structure this part of your work is using the 5 C's of marketing. However, as time is limited, it is important to focus on the most important elements. Firstly, you should consider the company. Information about the company is only available through the case study that you will be given when you enter the exam. you should pick out important information about the company from the case study. For example, you will find information about the product or service, the business's overall aims, and you might find information about their strengths and weaknesses. Customer information is vital for marketing decisions, so you should discuss and analyse information about the market, which you should have collected in your research. Market size will tell you how many potential customers there are and how frequently they make purchases. You might also find out specific information about the target market, who they are, their income, habits, and where they prefer to make purchases. And the most important information, fashions, trends, and what the customers want and need. Finally, to compete in the market, it is essential to know what competitors are doing. This should also be part of your research and should outline who the main competitors are, what their market share is, and details about their marketing mix, including products, pricing, distribution channels, and promotional methods. Climate is also important, but this will be covered in your pest analysis. The highest marks for this section are available for the quality of your analysis of research, so you should consider how you construct your discussion. You need to achieve a detailed analytical approach with balanced conclusions and consistent reference to the case study, market data, and your own research. Consider using the following model to clearly analyse each of your points and make sure that you consistently analyse the data in the context of the case study. State your research using evidence, such as quote or statistic if possible. Explain what it means. The examiner will not read between the lines or make assumptions. Most importantly, you need to consistently link your points back to the case study by analysing how the information you have explained might impact the business's marketing activity. Think about how it might influence the product, price, place, or promotion. It is likely that you will have collected a lot more research than you will actually need for this task, so it is important to only use the most relevant information. You will get the best marks for high quality analysis of highly relevant information than a large quantity of much less relevant information and poor analysis, or running out of time. Another important part of this task is to evaluate the validity and reliability of the data you used. Remember, reliability refers to the accuracy of your information and validity refers to how relevant the information is. You need to show that you understand these concepts and how it impacts marketing. In simple terms, it is about the quality of your research and how it will impact your marketing decisions. Decisions made on valid and reliable information are better than decisions made on less valid and less reliable information. The second part of Activity 1 is defining marketing objectives. You should define and justify 3 suitable marketing objectives for the business scenario you have been given. These objectives should be SMART. They should be specific, so they clearly state what is to be achieved. This achievement should be measurable, such as having a numerical target or percentage. Objectives should also be achievable, one that the business could realistically achieve. One of the most important qualities is that it should be relevant to the business and the overall aim that is outlined in the case study. Finally, it should be time-bound, meaning it should have a time frame or deadline. Don't forget that marketing objectives are different to general business objectives or financial objectives, so you should make sure you choose objectives that are relevant to the business and marketing. This includes objectives relating to things like market share, brand awareness, identifying target markets and sales. You should avoid any objectives relating to profits or costs, as these are generally financial objectives. Once you have decided the marketing objectives for the business, you should justify them in the context of the case study. You should explain why each objective is relevant and suitable for the business, and also briefly discuss how achieving the objective would benefit the business. In Activity 1, you are required to use situational analysis tools to form a justification. The first tool you should use is a pest analysis, in which you should identify the main political, economic, social, and technological factors that influence the market, all of which you should have found in your research. With this part of the work, it is important to remember that time is limited, so you should not spend too much time on this by including unnecessary analysis. This will come later. You simply need to briefly explain the most significant factors under each heading. Try to be as specific as possible by giving details rather than vague description of general factors. For example, instead of explaining political decisions as a political factor, pick out a specific example of a political decision which is significant to the market. The second situational analysis tool you should use is a SWOT analysis. You should gather the information that you have collected throughout your research and the case study to identify the business's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. You shouldn't need any extra information to complete a SWOT analysis. It is a case of analysing the information you already have and arranging it into a SWOT analysis table. Strengths and weaknesses are internal to the business, so you will find this information by interpreting the case study. Opportunities and threats are external, so you can gather this information from your research and pest analysis. Don't forget that a SWOT analysis can be achieved simply using bullet points in a table, as you don't want to spend too much time here. More detailed analysis will come later. You will achieve much more detailed analysis when you justify and discuss initial ideas. Your discussion of market information, pest analysis and SWOT analysis should all feed into a justification, which is a detailed analysis and discussion of the current situation for the business. This justification should reflect on your findings to summarise initial ideas for the marketing mix. You should also discuss the key strengths and opportunities for the business and consider how these might influence marketing activity and success. And consider potential challenges for the business's marketing activity. This justification should tie together all of your work and form a conclusion. Don't be worried about repeating anything from your work so far, as you are expected to use the information you have collected throughout your work to form balanced conclusions. These 5 elements make up Activity 1 of your exam, and will provide the background context for your marketing plan in Activity 2. In Activity 2, you are required to create a marketing plan for the business you have been given. This plan should include 4 main elements. Firstly, you should identify your target market, who you will target your marketing campaign towards and why. You should then give a detailed explanation of your marketing mix, including product, price, place and promotion, as well as reference to the extended marketing mix if relevant. You will also be given a budget and need to allocate this to your planned marketing activity. And finally, produce a timescale that identifies when the different parts of your plan will be undertaken. It is important to know who a business is targeting as potential customers, so that their products and services can be tailored to meet their needs and to use the most suitable methods of attracting them to make purchases. In this section, you should give a brief outline of your target market. Whilst you could target the general public, it is important to consider and identify any particular groups of people that you will focus on in your plan. For example, this could be based on their age, gender, interests, income, or any other form of segmentation. You don't need to spend too much time on this part, as it simply provides additional context for your marketing mix. The marketing mix consists of 4 main elements: product, price, place, and promotion. You should also consider the extended marketing mix, including process, people, and physical. It is important that you use your research to make realistic decisions in your marketing plan. Remember, you must make the actual decisions yourself, rather than simply speculating what they could do. You should refer back to any research to help explain and justify your decisions. You should start by outlining the key features and qualities of the product or service and explaining its unique selling point. You will find this information in the case study. You don't need to write too much here, but make sure you include enough detail to clearly explain the product. Don't assume that the examiner already knows this information. Next, you should explain the pricing strategy that the business will use and the price or price range that it will sell for. To do this, you should consider the pricing strategies of the business's main competitors and explain how the product or service fits into this. For example, will the product use premium pricing to promote the quality of the product? Or will they use budget pricing to show affordability? Other pricing strategies you could use include penetration pricing, which drives initial interest in the product before increasing the price; price skimming, which involves offering the product at a premium price before slowly lowering it as it gains popularity; or psychological pricing, which involves selling things for £9.99 instead of £10. For example, to make things seem more affordable to buyers. Whichever pricing strategy you select, it is essential that you clearly justify your pricing decisions by explaining why it is suitable for the product or service, and linking it back to any research such as the pricing of competitor products. Next, you should define place, where the product or service will be available and how it will be distributed. There may be 2 aspects of this: where the customer can purchase the product and how they access it. For some products, this may be the same for both aspects, such as purchasing and accessing something in a retail store. However, a customer may also purchase something online and access it via delivery or collection. Most businesses have more than one distribution option. Your decision for suitable distribution channels will depend on several factors. Firstly, you should consider what competitors do. How do they distribute their products? You should also consider what is more suitable for customers. Where would they prefer or be most likely to purchase the product? Finally, what is realistic and practical for the business and the type of service or product? You should clearly explain which distribution methods you will use for the product and justify why these are appropriate, including consideration of the extended marketing mix if relevant. The most important part of the marketing mix is promotion, which should form the largest part of activity 2. Promotion is made up of 2 main parts: promotional methods and the marketing message. Promotional methods could include a wide range of traditional and digital media, such as leaflets and flyers, newspaper or magazine adverts, posters, billboards, direct mail, television or radio advertising, and social media. In this part of the task, you must demonstrate selectivity in your choice of promotional methods and to use the most realistic and appropriate methods for the business. To demonstrate this selectivity, you could begin the task with a brief discussion of possible promotional methods based on which methods competitors use. In this discussion, you should make judgments on which promotional methods would be more or less suitable for the business. You should base these judgments on factors such as the budget you have been given and how effective it might be for the product and target market. Following this brief discussion, you should clearly outline which methods you have chosen for your marketing campaign and why. In your explanation, you should also explain the marketing message that you would promote through each method. You could consider the following model to make sure that you thoroughly explain your choice of promotional methods and link this clearly to the marketing message. Explain the promotional method, including where and how it would be used. Then explain why this method is suitable and how this could benefit the business. Finally, explain the contents of the promotional method and marketing message. Remember, the marketing message should reflect how the business wants to be seen by their target market. Classy, luxurious, friendly, fun, playful. You should make decisions that show how you might communicate this marketing message using your chosen promotional method, such as the type of images, language, and slogans used. You will use multiple promotional methods to form your campaign. Therefore, it is important that you justify each one and clearly explain how it links to the marketing message. Once you have decided which promotional methods to include in your campaign, you need to decide when each method would be used throughout the year. To make these decisions, you should consider several factors. Firstly, you should consider seasonality of the product. Is there any particular time of the year when the product is more likely to be popular? For example, ice cream is particularly popular in the summer, but might also be popular around festivities like Christmas and Valentine's Day. You should also consider the cost of promotional methods. It may not be realistic to use expensive methods all year round, but cheaper options like social media could be used more frequently. You could also consider how annoying it may be for customers to receive too frequent promotion, such as weekly leafleting or daily emails. For each promotional method, you should use these factors to discuss and explain when it would be most effective and how frequently the method should be used. Information about the marketing budget can be found in the case study. This will inform you of the total amount that you may spend on promotional activity. The budget should only be allocated to promotional activity and should not be used for any other part of the business, such as improving facilities. To achieve well in this part of the work, you must demonstrate that you have a good understanding of the costs of promotional activity and produce a realistic budget. You should do this in 2 stages. Firstly, you should identify and explain the costs associated with each promotional method that you have chosen. You should have gathered information about the costs of various promotional methods in your research prior to the exam, so should use this to guide you. You should then use this information and your ideas about how frequently you will use each method to allocate a suitable amount of the budget to each method. For example, if a radio advert costs £400 per week and you intend to run the advert for 12 weeks in the summer, you should allocate a budget of approximately £5,000. If you find that you have overestimated how frequently you can afford to use a promotional method and it works out too expensive, if you have time, you can simply go back to your timeline and adjust it to a more affordable plan. These four main elements make up Activity 2 and complete your exam tasks. At this point, if you have time, you should go back and check through your work. There are several marks available for structure and presentation of your work, so you should check that your work is neat and organised, with a professional presentation and logical structure. Use headings to clearly indicate the different sections of your work and check for any spelling or grammatical errors. This can earn you easy marks in the exam.